closed tonight, more than 24 hours after the country's transport network ground to a frozen standstill. Gridlock meant hundreds of people were left trapped in their cars overnight, while hundreds more abandoned their vehicles at the side of the road. The authorities have spent the day trying to restore order, but with temperatures now falling again, many problems remain. In a moment we'll go live to the M8, but first, Weevil Alderson looks back on a night many would rather forget.
Normally Scotland's busiest motorway, but not yesterday. Throughout most of the day, the whole length of the M8 between Edinburgh and Glasgow was effectively a snowbound car park. Speed signs were irrelevant.
I started at Deer Park at 10:05 this morning. And that's me, I'm just, went an average of 5 miles in 12 hours nearly.
Scotland's motorway and trunk road network has been paralysed. Apart from the M8, closed in each direction, travellers on the M and A80 found they were going nowhere fast. The M74 south to England was littered with abandoned cars and lorries, and on the M876, police estimate 1,000 vehicles were stuck overnight, including 350 lorries. The snow which started falling during yesterday's morning rush hour was caused by this. A thick band of cloud stretched right across the central belt and pictured by the Dundee University satellite. Lanarkshire was particularly badly hit. Local people helped an ambulance take a patient to hospital. The county's health board allowed stranded day patients and relatives to stay in spare beds. And at Hamilton College, children from nursery to 6th year couldn't get home. Food and bedding were provided.
We slept on mats from the gymnasium, which were comfortable because we thought we were going to have to sleep on the floor. We had dinner, which was really good. It was fish and with peas and potatoes, and we had to sleep on the floor.
Even by this morning, the motorway network was still badly affected as police and gritter crews struggled to clear roads. This is the Auchenkilns roundabout on the A80 in late morning. Hauliers have been stung by accusations that jackknifing lorries were responsible for the chaos.
For the number of lorries on the roads, very, very few have jackknifed. And a lot of the reports we've had, it's been car drivers cutting in too sharply in front of lorries or pulling out in front of lorries. And the natural reaction is to brake, and as soon as you touch brakes on ice, that's you. There's nothing you can do anymore.
40 passengers, including a young baby, spent the night at Glasgow's bus station. The disruption to public transport throughout the central belt was considerable.
There was no buses where we were. Couldn't get them. There's a bus route, but we couldn't get the bus.
Total and absolute nightmare. We got out this morning, no problems on the bus. Now we've tried for 3 bus stops now down there. Can't get on a bus, so we've decided to get a taxi.
As rush hour began, the M8 westbound from Edinburgh was empty. Police are still assessing when it can reopen. Safety is their main concern.
The snow that fell yesterday was very quickly compacted by the traffic that was on it, and then the plummeted temperatures has turned that snow to ice and made it just completely treacherous. We need to establish by running the route ourselves that it is safe for the general public to run on the road, and clearly that means that it has to be devoid of ice.
Most of the main roads in the central belt have been reopened, but police continue to insist care must be taken and only necessary journeys made. Weevil Alderson reporting Scotland.
Our correspondent James Cook is on the M8 at Harthill tonight. James, more than 24 hours on and still closed.
Yes, that's right, Jackie, and not just 24 to be precise, 28.5 hours since the M8 closed. It's shut still between Junction 1 in Edinburgh and Junction 5 here at Harthill westbound. You can see the traffic crawling along eastbound this evening, actually really struggling on the surface, but on the eastbound carriageway, that's bad enough. On the westbound carriageway, it is very, very thick, chunky ice when you get down close to it down there, and you can see why. You just can't let traffic on it this evening. We have seen a fleet of specialist vehicles out today trying to break up that ice. A special machine that Transport Scotland say they've been using to hack away at the ice and try to break it up, but that's been unsuccessful so far this evening. They are now trying to grit it all through the night as well, but the problem is that salt and grit don't work at temperatures of below -10 degrees Celsius. The temperature right here just now is -15 degrees Celsius, and it could possibly drop to -20 as the night goes on. So a great deal of concern about the morning. It seems pretty unlikely that they will be able to get this surface ready in time for the morning rush hour.
James, thank you very much. Well, among the hundreds stuck on the roads yesterday and into today, there were some drivers who spent 10, 12, even 15 hours confined to their cars. One of the unlucky ones was Eamon O'Neill from the Borders. His normal commute to work in Glasgow turned into a journey from hell. Maura Kinnebra has his story.
Planning his next car journey undeterred by 27 hours of misery, travelling across central Scotland yesterday.
It was really seriously bad as far as visibility goes and as far as actual driving conditions going up the M74, especially when we got near Larkhall and then of course Hamilton, which was literally in the eye of the storm.
How did you cope?
Well, everyone coped as best as they could. That people were having to go out and answer the call of nature. There was young families. You could see them having to take their children out to, try and get off the motorway as best they could. It was kind of scary to see people having to tiptoe by in high heels, and some guys were out and they looked as if some of them were just wearing jogging bottoms and all that sort of thing. So I think people were caught, in the hole.
Home